already know who it is. It's your boy OG Gordo tapping in from Phoenix, Arizona, boy. And boy, do I got a banger today. First of all, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. When you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that little bell, select all. That way you guys get notified every single time I come on or I go live. And as you guys can see on the thumbnail, who we are going to be speaking about. The story of Gypsy Rose. And for those of you who don't know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is, you will know after this video is done. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this, man. The story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother. Alright, unfortunately, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother, Dee Dee, falsely claimed that her daughter was suffering from different illnesses until Gypsy arranged for her boyfriend that she had met online to kill her mother, and it happened in 2015. So, let's get into this. And believe it or not, she was just barely released not even a week ago. Today is January 4th. She was just released 3 days after Christmas, December 28th, right before New Year's. Damn, isn't she lucky? Gypsy Rose Blanchard grew up with her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, who made claims about her health that resulted in a series of dire diagnoses and medical interventions. However, Gypsy wasn't actually unwell. Her mother had been lying about her symptoms. Experts believe Dee Dee's behavior stemmed from the mental disorder Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the word, so I am going to spell it for you. It's Munchausen. Syndrome by proxy. So the mother was actually diagnosed with this disorder because Dee Dee wanted to be the caretaker. So she wanted to be the caretaker of her own daughter, which don't make any sense because obviously you're the caretaker of your child from birth, right? All right, so she fidgeted and included illnesses in her daughter. The truth about Gypsy and her mother only came out after Gypsy arranged for an online boyfriend to kill her mother, Dee Dee, in 2015. Wow. Man. And also, I want to let you guys know, if you guys want, you can watch the fictional mini-series. It's called The Act, okay? It's about Dee Dee and Gypsy. Or the documentary Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. So, and it does start January 5th. So you guys are more than welcome to check out those and the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose on Lifetime. So you can go to Lifetime, check out the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose, and that's going to be starting January 5th. Also, the documentary of Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, and you can watch the fictional miniseries, The Act, okay? So there you guys go. You guys can check it out yourselves, see what you guys think. But, again, the mother, Dee Dee, began pretending that Gypsy had different illnesses when Gypsy was a baby. Gypsy Rose was born in 1991. Was a baby when Dee Dee claimed her daughter had sleep apnea. And for those of you guys who don't know what sleep apnea is, it's basically a sleeping disorder when you can't catch your breath. So they give you what is called a CPAP machine. You sleep with it at night, and it helps you breathe. And that's what it is. When Gypsy was 8 years old, Dee Dee described her as suffering from leukemia and muscular dystrophy and said she was required a wheelchair and a feeding tube. The list of medical problems that Dee Dee related about her daughter would go on to include seizures, asthma, and hearing and visual impairments also. Due to Dee Dee's actions, Gypsy was prescribed a litany of medications and had to sleep using a breathing machine. Again, like I had just explained, a CPAP machine. She also went through multiple surgeries, including procedures on her eyes and removal of her salivary glands. Okay, now that's where I question it. Okay, how are they going to go on this lady, Dee Dee, with the mother, just on her own statements, and these doctors are going to make these procedures, do these surgeries and all that? But we'll get into it, including procedures on her eyes and removal, like I had said, removal of her salivary glands. When Gypsy's teeth had rotted out, perhaps due to medications, taking a lot of different medications that could, it's almost like drug addicts. When they use so much drugs, their teeth will fall out. Missing salivary glands or neglect. But at the end of the day, they ended up pulling her teeth out. So, they really didn't know why. Yet the truth was that Gypsy could walk, didn't need a feeding tube, and didn't have cancer. Her head was bald only because her mother shaved off her hair. Experts believe Dee Dee had a mental illness known as, again, I had stated earlier, and please forgive me for my pronunciation, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Again, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, also called factitious disorder imposed on another, which made her fabricate her daughter's ill health in order to receive attention and sympathy for taking care of her sick child, which a lot of adults do. I mean, if you have a sick child and they know that they might have Down syndrome or any type of mental illness, I mean, you even see it on TikTok today and other platforms. They'll put their kids on there to receive financial gain because they want people to feel sorry for them. So, Dee Dee appeared to be a charming and devoted mother. So people believed her, okay? I mean, they're going to, because it's the mother. Obviously, at the time, she was a very young child, couldn't speak, couldn't talk, or maybe she could. Medical tests often showed inconclusive or contradictory results regarding Gypsy's diagnosis. Okay, and with that being said, if that was the case, then how come these doctors went through with the procedures they did? That's what puzzles me. But Dee Dee would stop seeing any doctors who questioned her daughter's ailments. So obviously, if any doctors questioned her about her ailments, she obviously, she jumped ship. She was out of there. She was gone. And many caregivers went along with what Dee Dee wanted. She had some nurses training. So obviously she had a background of medical, the medical background, because I guess she did have some training as being a nurse. So she could accurately describe symptoms, and she sometimes gave Gypsy medication to mimic certain conditions. Man, that's terrible. Can you imagine your parents giving you a medication to mimic a certain... So, for instance, if they're trying to play whatever, I don't know. They give them a medication, and that could literally screw somebody's mind up, and that's just that's man, that's too bad. That's crazy. Dee Dee was Dee Dee was also charming and seemed devoted to her daughter. When Gypsy was told when Gypsy was old enough to talk, Dee Dee instructed her not to volunteer any information during the appointments. She was also the only one relating Gypsy's fake medical history. Wow. Dee Dee told Gypsy's father, Rod Blanchard, that their daughter had chromosomal disorder that had led to her many health issues. He complimented Dee Dee for her devoted care, which father wouldn't compliment their baby's mom for taking care of their sick child? Okay. When some of Dee Dee's family noticed that Gypsy didn't seem to need a wheelchair and asked questions, Dee Dee and Gypsy moved away, so she also jumped ship on her family too. Dee Dee claimed to be a victim of Hurricane Katrina. Man, she was good, wasn't she? So she and Gypsy received assistance to relocate from Louisiana to Missouri in 2005. There, Dee Dee continued to bring Gypsy to doctor's appointments. Hurricane Katrina also provided an excuse for missing medical files. Wow, like I said, she was good. She definitely knew what she was doing. Even when Gypsy was a teenager, Dee Dee still claimed she was sick and began to lie about Gypsy's age. Man, in 2008, Gypsy and Dee Dee moved into a new home in Springfield, Missouri, built by Habitat for Humanity, which a lot of people know that Habitat for Humanity, they do a lot of work for sick children and parents who are struggling. They build new homes and they put them in these homes, which is a great thing, I believe. And it was painted in pink, obviously because they thought she had cancer, and had a wheelchair ramp, which she didn't need. Gypsy and Dee Dee also received benefits that included charity-sponsored visits to concerts and Disney World. All along, Dee Dee continued to bask in the attention she received for being a devoted caretaker. Wow, man. When Gypsy was 14, she saw a neurologist in Missouri who came to believe she was a victim of, again, the Munchausen syndrome by proxy. However, this doctor never reported her case to authorities. Why? I don't know. In later interviews, he stated his belief that there wasn't enough evidence to act. So obviously, he thought there wasn't enough evidence to act on, telling the authorities about the mother, Dee Dee. Okay. So this resulted in two caseworkers visiting their home, but Dee Dee, the mother, again convinced them there was nothing wrong. As Gypsy grew older, Dee Dee began to lie about her age, going so far as to alter dates on Gypsy's birth certificate to make her daughter seem younger. Man, I don't, and nowadays too, well, this happened in what, 2025? I mean, it's still hard to believe that she even got away with all this. But Dee Dee okay, I already covered that. As Gypsy grew older, Dee Dee began to, lie about her age, like I had said, and make her, her seem like she was younger, but Gypsy was still becoming harder for Dee Dee to control. So obviously, the mother, the older she got, she couldn't control, what Gypsy was going to do or say or whatever. And then Gypsy convinced a man that she had met online to kill Dee Dee, which is the mother, in 2011. Gypsy tried to get away from her mother by running away with the man she had met at a science fiction convention. But Dee Dee soon tracked them down via mutual friends. She convinced the man that Gypsy was a minor, though she was actually 19 at the time. Obviously an adult. According to Gypsy, Dee Dee smashed her computer and physically restrained her to her bed after she returned home. So when she got home, this guy obviously brought her home and thinking that she was underage. Then Dee Dee, the mother, gets her home, basically ties her down, restrains her to her bed, breaks her computer, and Gypsy also stated that her mother would sometimes hit her and deny her food, which is believable. After you hear all this, come on. Gypsy eventually managed to get back online. She joined a Christian dating site, okay? Now here's where it gets kind of odd. Where she met Nicholas Godejohn. She told him the truth about her mother's actions and ended up asking him to kill Dee Dee so they could be together. In June of 2015, he came to her house and stabbed Dee Dee while Gypsy waited, ears covered, in the bathroom. Now, with that being said, okay, I understand all the abuse and all that, but at the same time, I still feel like that is no reason to have a life taken, especially if she definitely knew right from wrong. She was obviously able to get on a Christian website and date. She knew that her mother was doing her wrong. Why didn't she just speak up? Well, let's get into it. Gypsy and Godejohn returned to his home in Wisconsin, where they were found by police. Gypsy had twice posted to the Facebook account she shared with her mother, once writing that B is dead. She later explained she made the post because she wanted her mother's body to be discovered. Now, come on. Yeah, I don't know. That's odd, man. That's odd. So they go on to say that Gypsy was afraid and believed she didn't have anyone to trust. But she yet gets on Facebook and posts that her mother is dead. After Dee Dee's murder, many people who'd known Gypsy wondered why she had gone as far to kill her mother, since she could walk, since she simply could expose Dee Dee's lies by standing up in public. Yet Gypsy had been conditioned to think no one would believe her. She explained. Okay, now, this is in her defense. She's saying that she felt that nobody would believe her. I was afraid and I didn't know what my mother would do. I didn't have anyone to trust. The fact was that Gypsy had spent her entire life being controlled and monitored by her mother. She wasn't allowed to go to school. Although Gypsy was of normal intelligence, Dee Dee told everyone her daughter had a mental age of 7. When they were out in public, Dee Dee constantly held Gypsy's hand, squeezing it when she wanted her daughter to be quiet. Wow. Dr. Mark Feldman, an expert in Munchausen syndrome by proxy, excuse me again for my pronunciation, of Gypsy's life and actions. The control was total in the same sense that the control of a kidnapped victim sometimes is total. Her daughter was in essence a hostage, and I think we can understand the crime that occurred subsequently in terms of a hostage trying to gain escape. Now, here's where I want to know your guys' honest, non-biased opinion. How do you guys feel about that? Do you really believe that she could have stood up and spoke up for herself and said, hey, I'm being abused. You know, I don't have no one to trust or this and that. What is your guys' outlook? What is your thought? And see, now that she's out of prison, Gypsy is not happy that Dee is dead. So she says, okay? So she says, as Gypsy's medical records documented the abuse she had been subjected to, her lawyer was able to arrange a plea deal for the charges she faced in Dee Dee's death in 2016. Gypsy pled guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison and served 85% of her sentence for being released on December 28, 2023. Actually 1 week ago. So she has actually been out 1 week already. And she was sentenced to life in prison. Okay. Gypsy has stated it was only after Dee Dee's death that she realized that the extent of her mother's deception. While Gypsy had known she could walk and eat and regular food, she had believed she had leukemia. Okay. Now, that there again, if she knew that she could walk, talk, all that stuff, I just don't understand why, I don't know. But then again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor. So, today Gypsy is healthy. She also said she enjoyed more freedom in prison than in life, she shared with Dee Dee. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for one bit. I don't. There's no way you're going to enjoy prison more than life out here. But, again, who am I? I don't know. I'm not her. I'm not a psychologist. However, when asked about Dr. Phil if she was glad her mother was dead, she stated, I'm glad that I'm out of the situation, but I am not happy she's dead. All right. Now, with that being said, man, please do me a favor. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. Do you think that she deserved more time, being that she had actually set this murder up, asked somebody to do it, although she didn't do it? To me, it's almost like premeditated because it was thought out. She obviously thought it out, was smart enough to know better. And so, there again, that's where my questions come in. But do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And I appreciate everybody who's been tapping into my channel